Batteries going out on you at the very last moment. As I was saying, this day has finally come.
Yeah.
It's one that we've been waiting for the last 4 years. Some since we've been waiting for it since we've been a child. I could not be more proud of the individuals and friends that I will be walking with on this very stage today. As I reflected back on the 4 years here at SCNM, I have come to it that as naturopathic medical students, we must stick out like a sore thumb. And so, because of this, I have created a list of you know you're a naturopathic medical student when. To begin, you know you're a naturopathic medical student when you discuss poop during dinner or any other time you have food in front of you and don't flinch a bit. This is not just an isolated event either. This happens more times than it doesn't. You know you're a naturopathic medical student when you offer your friends stevia instead of sugar. Have you noticed that people really feel uncomfortable when they're around us, when they reach for that sweet glow or any other artificial sweetener? Family members and friends, you may know what I'm talking about. You know you're a naturopathic medical student when you are the tour guide of the local vitamin shop for your family members. In my case, it was my mother-in-law. And depending upon those medical conditions being discussed, that may just change your relationship forever. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know you're a naturopathic medical student when you're the first one your sister calls when her child has come down with a fever, or any other family member for that matter. Those calls, I don't know about for you, but it increased proportionately this last semester. People are beginning to realize, well, he may just know what he's talking about. He's graduating soon. You know you're a naturopathic medical student when you look around the classroom and see the things that people are eating that look so gross that you know they must be good. The greenish, purple hues of the sludge that some people were drinking just did not look appealing. It may have tasted great. And lastly, you know you're a naturopathic medical student when you try to hide a Whopper from Burger King in your backpack while still trying to eat it at the same time. Now, do you know what I found out? This doesn't work out so well. Because even though you can't see it, you can smell it. And smell seems so much stronger when you're on a fragrance-free environment like SCNM. In all reality, I am positive that physicians, we will continue to stick out just like we have over the last 4 years here. My parents taught me a lot growing up. However, one thing that was continuously drilled into my brothers, sisters, and I was the virtue of leadership. I have grown up knowing that leadership is not just a quality that I try to emulate, but rather it is a part of who I am. This quality allows you to see the world differently, to choose the path not chosen, to live as no one ever thought possible. If there is one thing that unifies all of us in the naturopathic profession, it is this very virtue. To not just accept the status quo, but push beyond into the great unknown. For this is what is at the heart of being a good physician. After all, the classic definition of the physician literally means being a natural philosopher. I see this as a calling to critical thinking and jumping into the world of possibilities that exist all around us. After all, we do not live in a world of limitations, The only limitation that one has is the limitations that are placed upon oneself by oneself. We live in a world not of limitations, but rather of possibilities. This is at the heart of quantum theory itself. This is a world where it is unacceptable to claim that something is impossible. For all things are possible. An example that proves this point is that for almost all of the 20th century, physicists have agreed with Einstein with thinking that nothing moved faster than the speed of light. As it turns out, a couple of weeks ago, researchers did their second test confirming that a neutrino, which is a particle, was measured as going faster than this speed of light. With this new information, the question becomes, what else is possible? Before Roger Bannister broke the 1 minute mile, people thought that that was impossible. Now, many people have been able to accomplish that feat. So do we see the possibilities which surround every single day of our lives? Living in a world of possibilities brings forth hope. This hope is so desperately needed to be conferred to our patients. We have only seen the tip of the iceberg in the understanding of the human person. What possibilities are on the horizon for us natural philosophers? I submit to you truly, there is no limit. I was reflecting recently about when we first came to SCNM, when we were discussing the question of why we wanted to be physicians. Actually, I would rephrase that question now as why did we want to put ourselves through the torture, the gauntlet that is medical school? But all joking aside, incorporated into every student's response was that we wanted to help people. And in doing so, we wanted to leave the world a better place than when we entered into it. I firmly believe that no individual enters into medicine to dominate or to be a dictator over life. We have all chosen medicine to serve our families, serve our communities, serve our patients, serve our world, serve the common good. In a recent study in 2010, medical researchers sought to find the most happiest careers in America. The results were shocking. The number one happiest career was that of clergy, followed by firefighters, and then special education instructors. In other happiness studies performed, people in a socioeconomic class where individuals struggled to meet their basic needs, money was in fact proportional to their quality of life or happiness. However, once basic needs were met, income had nothing to do with happiness. Researchers concluded that in the happiest professions, they didn't make the most money, rather they served society with a purpose. Paracelsus, the 15th century Swiss physician, was quoted as saying, "The physician is only the servant of nature, not her master. Therefore, it behooves medicine to follow the will of nature." Throughout the 4 years of schooling, we have experienced life together. Life that had both peaks, valleys, and a landscape anywhere in between. We have shared the failure of classes, unfavorable diagnoses, hospitalizations, hurts from the past, breakup of relationships, the untimely death of a classmate, death of loved ones, and miscarriages. On the other side, we have experienced together marriages, birth of new life, all the joys of daily living, and now the accomplishment of graduation. Life is filled with ups and downs, and this will not cease after we leave here today. The way to navigate through this journey we call life is to know who we are and where we are going, and surround ourselves with the community who will help us get there in the times that we fall short. The Catholic Church has a document called Gaudium et Spes, which translates the church in the modern world. In it, Pope Paul VI stated in 1967 that man, meaning humanity, cannot fully find himself except through a sincere gift of himself. This means that it is the act of giving where we as humanity find our purpose and our meaning. Once we find this through the act of serving, we find true happiness. When one has found who they are and is confident as to where they are going, no matter the darkness that surrounds them, they can truly lead the world into the light. Charles Dickens, who wrote A Tale of Two Cities, in it said, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times." In 2011, we live in a time of economic uncertainty, energy crisis, our world is toxic, healthcare is a mess, the United States is more obese than ever, autoimmunity is rising, diabetes and autism are epidemic. For the first time ever, children born today in today's generation are not expected to live as old as their parents will. And there has never been more fear or end of the world prophecy leading into 2012. It seems to be the worst of times. But I stand here today saying confidently and passionately that for us, the graduating class of 2011, it is the best of times. We are the answer to the challenges that face our great country and world. It is the hero's journey that each and every one of us is on. It is the hero that stands strong amidst the adversity and raises from the rubble of destruction and fear that proceeds with assuredness and hope in the future of life. For us, we are the change in the world that we wish to be. We are the solution to the difficult challenges facing us. When a perspective can be changed, it changes the most overwhelming circumstances and provides the possibilities of the most real solutions. This world has never been more starved for leaders in all of its history. Not just any leader, but ethical leaders. Individuals that do the right thing because it is the right thing to do, or the right thing for the community, even when it doesn't feel good, or you don't get the most personal gain out of it. I am convinced that individuals don't choose naturopathic medicine because it is the easiest road. We choose it because it is the right thing to do and the best for the patients that we will serve and ultimately our world. I will leave you with one final thought from Steve Jobs, which was spoken in his commencement to Stanford. Here to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. But the one thing you cannot do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Congratulations to my brothers and sisters, the class of 2011. I am proud to share in this wonderful accomplishment with you. Thank you for all those who have sacrificed to bring us here, and I look forward to the great unknown which lies before us. With confidence, I can confidently say it will be the best of times. Thank you.